the entire building has just collapsed, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is not there anymore.
I was on the scene about an hour and a half ago, and believe it or not, there was another major explosion. The building itself, literally the top of it, came down, sending smoke and debris everywhere.
Yeah, David Lee, what can you tell us?
I was making my way to the foot of the World Trade Center. Suddenly, while talking to an officer who was questioning me about my press credentials, we heard a very loud blast, an explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse before us. There was smoke left over from the debris.
Looks like I'm in a surreal movie.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse?
To me, it sounded like an explosion. Then the building, the rolling sound.
It was like a bomb went off, and it was like holy hell coming down them stairs. And then when we finally got to the bottom. They were coming out on the mezzanine level there, and another explosion came right from it. Just everything went flying right in front of me. Everything just went.
I saw the plane coming this way in a spot. It was factory directed to the building.
Was this the first plane or the second plane?
This was the first plane. The second plane, no second plane. It was a bomb. Bombed another building, not second plane. That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told. The second plane. We saw it on television.
I saw everything.
All right.
It's coming over our radio. Get out of the area. The second tower is coming around. Yes.
An hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower. I don't know what on earth caused that. The thing that strikes me is, one, the terribleness.
And all of a sudden, we're looking for another stairwell. Me and the lieutenant open the door. We find a body in this closet. We were like, what the heck is that? Where did this come from? Oh, what's going on? We got down to the lobby, and everything was blown out, exploded. Everything was... And we were the only ones in the lobby now. We're going...
Dark Lightning, presented by Science at NASA. NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope was launched in 2008 on a mission to study high-energy phenomena in our universe. The telescope routinely detects things like flares powered by black holes in distant galaxies or outbursts from massive stars going supernova. So, in 2010, researchers were not surprised when the telescope was hit by a beam of high-energy positrons, the antimatter equivalent of electrons. That's the sort of thing Fermi is out there looking for. But they were surprised when they realized where the antimatter came from, not from some black hole light years across the galaxy, but rather from our own planet. The source was a thunderstorm just 3,000 miles away. Earth's magnetic field seems to have corralled about 100 trillion positrons from the storm into a tight beam and funneled them all the way to the spacecraft, explains lightning expert Joseph Dwyer of the Florida Institute of Technology. Something was producing antimatter above the clouds of Earth and hurling it into space at nearly the speed of light. But what? Dwyer and collaborators at the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center and the University of Alabama believe they have figured it out. Under the right conditions, electric fields in a thunderstorm can create a powerful avalanche of electrons, shooting upwards nearly as fast as light. The electrons collide with air molecules, in turn producing gamma rays. Earth-orbiting spacecraft have been observing gamma-ray flashes from thunderstorms since at least the mid-1990s. Next, the gamma-ray energy transforms into a pair of particles, an electron and a positron. Successive collisions between these particles and other air molecules create a new batch of positrons and electrons, and the cycle repeats. A continuous feedback loop forms, like nuclear fission. It's a natural, self-generated, self-sustained particle accelerator, says Dwyer. Once the feedback loop gets started, he says, it can discharge parts of a thundercloud as fast as lightning. Self-generated, self-sustained particle accelerator, says Dwyer. Self-generated, self-sustained particle accelerator, says Dwyer.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Go ahead.
Well, this is fascinating.
Pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.